First, let me thank all the organizers, especially the Maritime Standard, to have given us opportunity to Indian Institute of Shipping to express our views, especially with respect to the subject sustainable design and construction. During my presentation, I'll cover these aspects, sustainability, stages in the life cycle of a ship impacting sustainability, existing regulatory requirements which are already there, sustainable ship design, alternate fuels and technologies, sustainable ship construction, operations. I have included recycling also because recycling becomes a part of the final journey. So, and should be taken at time of ship construction. So I have taken recycling also included into this, and how the class societies play the role in this exercise. And finally, I'll sum up what I need to say basically. To understand the concepts, I think it's better we also once understand the definition of sustainability. So sustainability is something like its practice of integrating various principles and strategies for designing, construction, operating ships, all with the objective of reducing their ecological footprint throughout the entire life cycle, minimizing the negative environmental impacts, improving the energy efficiency, and viable long-term use and safe recycling. Basically, what we are trying to say is that sustainable, we have to, resources are not unlimited. They have a life basically, and they are going to exhaust. So we need to see that how far we can go, and that is where we keep evolving the things basically. And that is where the sustainability will sustain us for longer periods basically. We discuss over here about how the sustainability can be taken into account during various stages of ship design, ship construction, operation, and recycling. Today, definitely a lot of tools are available, and we can definitely optimize the design. Hydrodynamics plays a very important role. CFD analysis plays an important role. We can ensure that the propulsion devices are designed in a manner that the resistance is less and the efforts are minimum to get the maximum output. Hull coatings are there. We can apply those hull coatings to see that further efficiencies can be obtained. During ship construction, our aim should be to see that the indirect energy is reduced, the direct energy is also reduced. When I say indirect energy, means the material should be procured by the transport which is going to have the least emissions and the least amount of energy consumed. Direct also, the energy consumption made during the ship construction, welding should be reduced. How we have to optimize all these aspects can be considered, and the waste should be less basically. Ship operation, it is definitely always important for a ship owner. If the operations are efficient, they are consuming less fuel, the engine is consuming less fuel, emissions are low, I'm complying with the regulations, and that is how the sustainability can be obtained. And during recycling also, when I'm going to recycle the ship, the energy consumption should be as least as possible, and I'm complying with the convention of ship recycling. I think sustainability can be achieved basically. Slide becomes important, especially when IMO has just revised its GHG strategy, the 2023. The strategy came in 2018. All things were based upon 2008 levels, and even today everything is based upon 2008 levels, but we have revised the strategy in 2023. And the focus is now that we have to see that how the CO2 emissions are reduced by at least 40% by 2030, how the GHG emissions are reduced by 20% at least, and we should strive to see that how we can go to 30% reduction also. Further, we need to see that how best we can achieve the use of alternate fuels or zero GHG emission fuels by 2030, and aim should be to see that how best at least 5% we use these fuels and go to the maximum 10%. And at 2040, we should try to see that the GHG emissions are at least reduced by 70% or maximum 80%. And finally, by 2050, we reach the net zero. So these are the targets set. They are the targets help us to go behind them and to achieve success, basically. There are certain measures which have been already adopted when the strategy 2018 was adopted. EDI, EXI, SIMP are already in force basically. We are now in the stage where we are working on alternate fuels, and there are other measures being discussed at IMO, especially the market-based measures, which will play also important role at some point of time. Like I just said, EDI, EXI, they are technical measures and they have been already put into use since EDI came into force in 2013, EXI came into force in 2023, and they are all applicable to certain types of ships. EXI became applicable to ships of 4 and GT this year only, and we have tried to see that how the design efficiency can be further advanced, and that is how for certain ship types, which I'll show in the next slide, where the phase 3 was advanced, so that we should be able to achieve the targets which are set by IMO. This is the slide which is showing about the phase 3, where the arrow shows that the phase 3 was advanced, which was supposed to start in 2025, but it has just started in 2022, all with the aim that we should be able to achieve the set reductions basically. Again, during sustainable ship design and operation, we need to see that how best the existing regulations play an important role. And that is how the SIMP, which was designed, it came into force much earlier in 2013, and today it talks about a lot of commitment, where the carbon intensity indicator will play an important role, and we need to see that we are able to achieve the attained carbon intensity basically. So when we talk about ship design and operation as far as sustainability is concerned, we have a lot of tools like digital twin can be used during design. It can also be used while operating the ship to see that the predictive maintenance can be done, the performance can be monitored. We can definitely optimize the hydraulic designs of the ships to reduce their resistance basically. We can use analysis to see that as the flow onto the propeller can be monitored, and then accordingly the ships can be designed. We need to also see that from the operation point of view, how the seakeeping behavior should be kept so that we have the minimum waste and the routes are followed, water has been planned basically. And today when the manufacturing takes place, how to reduce the waste, the additive manufacturing will play an important role, and we can adopt such additive manufacturing also basically. This is something which we are worrying about what is happening. This slide is taken from the IMO GHG study which took place in 2018 basically, and it shows that we are able to achieve 22% reductions compared to 2008 levels basically. And further, during the resolutions, when you read the 33876, the resolution does say that during the year 2019, the data which they got, almost 1.6% reduction is possible from there. So looking at that, at the next slide when I go, I have plotted that graph. This graph has been plotted by me. It shows that it is possible that we may achieve, but there are a lot of reasons to understand that why I say but. Because when we look at the age, the growing age of the vessels, the fleet has increased, and the impact which will take place when IMO is working not from the well-to-wake approach will be taken, and that will impact the full CF factor, which will be impacted basically. So we need to look into something else now. Besides the design efficiency, the operating efficiency, we need to look at something. And while IMO has also stated that they need to see that by 2030 they are able to go to some other alternate fuels, at least aiming to get 5 to 10% basically. So the future will be definitely looking for that. We have to start working on alternate fuels basically. So these are the various fuels and technologies which are available, which can be used during design, and to say that the ships will remain sustainable. And these alternate fuels, when we look at that, they do have some advantage. Like when we say about, we have been talking about hydrogen, ammonia, they have the advantage because they don't have the carbon element with them. And when the carbon element is not in them, it helps me to say that it will be a zero carbon fuel basically, and that is how the CO2 emissions will not be there. At the same time, when we go for technologies, basically today, there are technologies available, they are being worked out. Battery-operated ships are working today. We are working on fuel cell ships, basically. So the technology and the current fuel, what in the morning somebody said that we have to decarbonize the fuel, that will play a very important role basically. During ship construction, how we can try to attain sustainability is that there are few concepts basically where the yard plays an important role and the material which is going to be used in the production processes, that is how the ship is built basically. So as far as the material is concerned, we need to see that the materials which are selected should be lightweight, should have low carbon footprint, should be recyclable, and they should be biodegradable so that we can ensure the environment is also safe and the ship construction is sustainable basically. As far as the yard practices are concerned, we should aim to use optimum quantity of steel and other energy consuming materials. We should procure material throughout the short distance transportation through the water and with least energy consuming transportation system. We should adopt use of alternate materials which are biodegradable, can be recycled. We should try to improve the production techniques. The process should try to eliminate the waste. The QMS process should be followed, and use of alternate and renewable energy, source of energy should be used in the yard so that the yards are also sustainable basically. Finally, when we talk about recycling, ship recycling, to be the full process should be sustainable. And the ship recycling industry can be considered as a sustainable and green industry as and when the ship arrives at the end of its life, when almost everything can be recycled or reused. Some components of energy consumption will be similar to what we do during manufacturing. Only thing, the material will not be used here, so that will be not taken into account. And we need to see that how best we adopt this recycling process as per the convention basically. Coming to the role of class societies, class societies are involved in the research and development to obtain efficient and optimum designs. Rules and regulations and guidelines are being prepared to ensure safety, pollution prevention, and sustainability of vessels during its lifetime. We do comply with all the statutory requirements as recognized organizations, and we do regular systematic surveys to ensure that vessels are kept maintained, and so that whatever way they were designed, they remain, the sustainability is retained. And we try to encourage innovative designs for which we study the lightweight, other alternative material studies are always going on, and how we can give the advice to the owners basically who want to build some vessels. These are the few rules, guidelines what we have prepared at IRS, and IRS is working at some alternate fuel ships. We have run almost 25 to 30 ships on biofuel. We are working on methanol fuel ships and fuel cell ships. They are under prototype testing now, and they should be ready to start operating for some time next year basically. Summing up, I'll say that sustainable shipping requires pollution-free and safe operation over ship's life cycle. Adopting sustainable ship design using numerical techniques such as CFD and FEM for optimum design. Alternate fuel technologies should be adopted. Undertaking sustainable ship construction by improved production methods, techniques, and process, and mostly by elimination, rework, and effective quality control can be used. Sustainable ship operation, effective implementation of SEAM, and low energy consumption and good maintenance of machinery will help us sustainability. And sustainable ship recycling through compliance to ship recycling will ensure that the end of the life will also be sustainable and useful to the environment basically. Finally, we are geared up to provide value-added services to all our clients worldwide. Thank you.